Hi, I'm Don Hychek of Tribe of Diamonds, and this is Being Seen. Beyond the Patriarchy. I'm sorry, I installed this new trigger meter. It lets me know when I'm getting into territory that may be causing triggering, not necessarily for you, maybe even for me, and it makes this sound. I promise if it gets annoying, I will turn it off. Anyway, I thought I would start with something easy today, like how the patriarchal system runs us, chews us up in its gears every day. Do I really want to do this? I don't know. But wait. Before you tune out, I'm not talking about men bad, women good. I won't apologize for being the man that I am, even though I have very publicly apologized for the man that I was, and honestly, the man that I fall into being every once in a while in my relationships. I am human, and so I am flawed, but I am trying. I know that the gifts that I bring to this world are in part because I am a man. And I am an ally to men in the same way that I'm an ally to women, because I know a way out of this. For all of us. I want to share the knowledge I've gained over 8 years, working with more than 700 women, one-on-one all over the world, and I learned it by paying attention to each of them. Everything that I know about being a man, I learned from women. I think maybe I better just turn this thing off. But why am I talking about this at all? I'm just a photographer, right? Well, none of us are just the thing that we do. Well, as I talk about the work that I do and how I came to it, and most importantly, the lessons I've learned, I have to discuss what I have found to be the root of the suffering that I've seen in the women and the men that I've worked with. And it extends out into the suffering that we see all around us. It's a way that the system that we're operating in incentivizes us not to bring all of who we are to the table. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but the system is broken, and it was broken well before our current circumstances sort of dragged it out into the light. And the fact that it's dragged out into the light is a gift, because we can see it, all of it, and we can deal with it. We can't ignore it anymore. And because my girlfriend says I should be more animated in these videos, I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Honey, am I an influencer yet?
No!
Yeti! Top 10 reasons that I love Yeti. And the reason that it is so hard for us to have much needed, meaningful conversations about all of this is because when men feel like they just heard that they are the problem, they tend to tune out and the conversation stops. And it's only a conversation when we're all talking about it. Man or woman, it is hard to acknowledge our own powerlessness and painful. And it's hard for us to look at the fact that the lives we feel we were promised through hard work did not materialize for us or for the people that we promised that life. Many men have found that stepping up and being a man in the way that they were taught to be a man only caused more problems. And I put taught to be a man in air quotes because that is not a thing. This leaves many of us feeling confused, resentful, at best, and at worst, expressing that repressed masculine in ways that just make things worse. I thought I'd turn that thing off. And this can leave us feeling hopeless and turning to things like drugs and alcohol, opioids, and even suicide, thus leaving the conversation altogether. And when men choose to leave the conversation, tuning out or shutting down altogether, it's a huge loss, because men also want real change, and not just for themselves, but for the women that they love, and the men that they love, and the women and men that they love, and on and on. And the majority of men that I talk to want to be a part of the solution. They ask, how can I make things better? It's a real desire. And it's hard when often the options given to well-meaning men are things that only make things worse. And I am totally not getting into that can of worms today, but I talk about it elsewhere. Of course, I hope I don't have to state the obvious, which is that women are suffering, and suffering profoundly in many cases. I am witness to this suffering every day in my work. It's not always at the hands of the men in their lives, but it's often at the hands of the system that we are all stewards of, wittingly or unwittingly. Bearing witness to this pain is truly the purpose of my work and the purpose of my life. It's difficult to discuss any of this, of course, without discussing race and politics. All of what we're going through in 2020, and we're going through before, is due to this voicelessness, and it permeates our culture from top to bottom and end to end, across political divides, racial divides, socioeconomic status. It's in every life. And so what if we, men and women, stop and we remember? We remember, as I say in a lot of my speeches, who we were before the world began to break its promises. What happens when we stop and say, well, if this isn't serving me, what happens if I remember who I was before I gave that up to be a part of a game that doesn't serve me anyway? And even people who feel like they're at or near the top of all of this have often given up some integral part of themselves to get there, which then leaves them feeling unfulfilled in spite of all of the stuff around them. And the problem with changing this system or abandoning the system or leaving the system is that the system is designed to make that a little painful. It's like an out-of-control artificial intelligence that will do anything to preserve and perpetuate itself. And there's a very long list of incentives to stay a part of this system, because separating from it feels like choosing to suffer, but it's not. All of the most beautiful and valuable things lay on the other side of remembering who you were and implementing yourself in the world around you from that place. Change is scary, but we need it. Powerful women doing things the way that men have been doing it only perpetuates the system. But powerful women doing things the way that powerful women do things, bringing all that she is to bear against the issues that are frankly kicking our asses right now, without apology, without being judged or shamed in the ways that we seem to reserve only for the women. Please, please, how soon can we live in that world? And don't get me wrong, this is happening now. We just need more of it. We need it to just be how things are. It should be a feature of the system, not an anomaly. And men have a role to play in this. And it's not just getting out of the way. It doesn't make us irrelevant. It doesn't make us wrong, because we have to be a part of this change. And maybe we have been wrong, but redemption is possible. And I know that because I've experienced it. So let me explain what I've discovered after 8 years of essentially being embedded with women. I cannot stress enough how playing a role in the empowerment of the women in your lives will change your life drastically for the better. And it'll also help you find your own true power. You are not granting them power as if you had that power yourself, and you are not teaching them about their power. Believe me, many women already know their own power, and the ones that don't are being taught by the women that do. It's about supporting her in her remembering all of the woman that she is, even the parts you may have thought you wanted her to forget about, especially those. This is about witnessing without shaming. This is about listening without judging. And this is about staying without expectation, even when the storms come. And the storms will come. And women, at least the women that I speak to, want this change too. Not just for them, but also for you. They want you to be all of the man that you are, and to join that conversation. It's the gift of finding out that being all of who you are is no less liberating and empowering for you as it was for them, because she wants that you to show up. And when you truly see the women in your life, and they truly see you, what if you felt useful every day? What if you felt appreciated, wanted, respected out of love, not out of fear? What if other men started asking you for advice? What if you could roll back the hands of time to before, when you had a sense of what you could do, what you could bring to the world, the way she knows you can show up. What if, indeed? So let's not be the patriarchal hero somehow lifting a woman up and into a system that we secretly know isn't serving anyone anyway. And let's also not be the hero martyr, subservient, sacrificing yourself and building a ladder out of your own bones so that she can climb higher. She doesn't want that either. This is about standing next to her and her standing next to you. 2 heroes, or 3 heroes, or 10 heroes, or 1,000 heroes. Shoulder to shoulder, reestablishing equilibrium and finding a way up and through and beyond the patriarchy. Nothing? Good boy, trigger meter. If you like this video, I have lots of other stuff to talk about, so I hope that you'll comment and like and share, and of course, subscribe. I'm Don Hychek of Tribe of Diamonds, and I'll see you next time on Being Seen.